Hello, Be Awesome listeners. This is episode 61. Happy Friday from the fourth tee box at Easton Country Club, or I wish I was there anyway. It's my background screen because I have an awesome Easton business owner, Mark Lombardi. It says Nicholas Lombardi on there, but Mark Lombardi from the Easton Country Club. Welcome, my friend.
Well, thank you, Josh.
Well,
thanks for having me.
I got to tell you, this year, from a weather perspective, we had one of the warmest winters on record. I think it was like the third warmest winter. The birds were chirping, everything was happening in like February, and it had all the makings for a wonderful golf season. And then this crazy COVID happened. Before we dig into that, though, tell us about the golf course itself. I think it's one of the most magnificent public courses. I mean, you drive by and you'd think it was a private course. Give us a little bit of history and what goes on over there on a day-to-day basis.
Sure. Well, I'm actually a third generation operator, believe it or not. My grandfather first opened the golf course, but before that it was a dairy farm. He had actually found out about the land being available. He lived in the Warwick area, Warwick, Rhode Island, drove up and actually was the winning bidder back in the late 40s. He proceeded to sell off some of the acreage he didn't need, but he operated as a dairy farmer up until the early 60s. When my father went off to college, he lost his free help and was figuring out that dairy farming was getting harder and harder. So he and my grandmother decided the next best thing would be a golf course. He built a 9-hole golf course, which opened in 1962. Unfortunately, 2 years after that, he passed away from a sudden heart attack. So my father, who was practicing law out in Illinois, took over, tried to manage from afar, found out other farmland was coming available, and he went to my mother's side of the family for the collateral, bought the additional land, and by 1968 or 69 or so, the Easton Country Club was an 18-hole golf course. He retired from law in the mid-'80s and ran it for about 20 years. He said 20 of the most happiest years in his life. So I was fortunate enough to come in and join the family business when we expanded into the function business. So I joined Easton Country Club in 2000, the year 2000, worked side by side with my father 4 years before he unfortunately passed away from cancer. So
Wow.
Been running it since. So it's been 20 years as well.
Wow. And how many acres is that total land-wise?
It's about 150 acres.
Wow.
A little less if you take away the building space.
And what does 150 acres sell for in 1940s, I wonder?
It was I know that I think it was about $5,500. But actually he bought.
You can't get 55 feet for that kind of money up here now.
Right. And to think of it, though, the parcel of land he bought was 225 acres and included 3 separate farmhouses.
Wow.
$5,500, and he sold off about 2/3 of the land.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you've been running the course for the last 20 years. You've done a ton of work in there. I mean, the function room is absolutely gorgeous. The patio out back is a multi-million-dollar view with the number of acres and what an acre sells for nowadays, but it's an absolutely gorgeous view.
Thank you.
On a typical day, how many golfers do you guys have come through and play?
Well, over the year, we do about 25,000 rounds, give or take a couple thousand rounds, depending on the weather. So as I try and tell my staff, my grounds crew especially, it's my job to sell rounds. It's your job to fix the rounds afterwards. So,
right.
We try and keep busy. That's our business approach. But we'll go anywhere from like a quiet Monday, say, without a tournament or anything. We might do 50, 60 rounds that day when you look at some morning play and then the leagues afterwards. And then the golden days are the ones where you do a morning shotgun with the members on a Saturday, say, and then you do, and that might be 70, 80, 90 players. And then they come off and we put out 140 players in a golf outing. And, then they stay for dinner, and
Yeah.
hopefully the next room next door is filled with 150 wedding guests as well. So it's those could be some pretty crazy busy days.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's about 230, 250 golfers and 150. That's a lot of moving and shaking for your team.
It is.
How many team members do you have? How many people do you have working at the country club that are helping you out total? Around the grounds and all the
Sure.
staff you have.
So what's a challenging thing about what I do is, I guess it makes sense to most people, but they don't know the enormous task at hand. But we have at any given year in the wintertime, maybe only 7 or 8 people on our payroll staff, because even though we're doing sales and that kind of thing, there's not a lot of functions, and obviously golf, especially if you're snow covered, doesn't exist. So, but in the peak of the summer, my payroll probably is at 60 people plus.
Wow.
So each year we have this great awakening in its process, and it's not all at once, which helps, but we phase into the staff as we get busier, and it's this constant ebb and flow over the course of the year that gives it a big challenge.
Yeah, well, I can see that, and I mean, the event that I've talked about with a number of the Easton businesses that I've had was the Easton Chamber of Commerce that you hosted. That was at capacity, sellout crowd, every seat was filled, and that was in January. So you have to staff that with more than 6 or 7 people. But one of the things that I touch on and have touched on is how people were on that night in January. Right? That was so jovial, so happy. Business was good for just about everybody. I mean, we were positioned for, my talk was on the challenges I had in 2020 physically and other things, but I was still unbelievably optimistic. And I was seeing a breakout year for me with my public speaking and everything else. And then 6 short weeks later, here we were in a life-altering, life-changing event. I mean, I'm looking out the window here, and this is a perfect day to be playing golf. I mean, it's the sunshine and it's beautiful out, and that course is empty. Walk me through a little bit of how that. As I said, you had a Facebook post that said, on I think March 14th, you were golfing before that, but you had made a post based on assumptions and uncertainties on March 14th of like, hey, social distance foursomes playing, separated by 8 minutes. And you on March 14th were more optimistic and hopeful that at least golf would continue, maybe not the functions, but everything stopped. When kind of walk me through that timeline of, March 10th starting golf and then that shut down, and then what have you been up to, the last 6 weeks?
Well, I'll tell you, the last 6 weeks seems like a lifetime, and I know it does for many people. But here, and it really is the seasonality that I just spoke to also makes it hard. It's we are almost dormant over the winter time, yet we still have payroll needs, and we try and make those bills and others, those expenses and others, and then. Here we go. We get out to an early start, which is so important for a public fee golf course. And then suddenly this comes that you didn't see it coming. No one saw this coming. And we were told by the governor to shut down and stop. So it's been extremely frustrating. One of the things that makes it so challenging is no one told the grass that there's a pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's growing, and with all the rain we've had, it's growing pretty fast right now. So It forces us to keep a staff on hand to maintain the course, because if I were to let it go, if we were the day we are given the green light, it may be a month or 2 after that we could actually get the golf course to playability status. So So it's a double whammy. No revenue coming in, and yet at the same time, I still have payroll expenses going out. So
Mhm.
so that has been very challenging. We've I've tried to stay in communication with my members. I have to say they've been fantastic. They're understanding. Uh, Certainly, the bad weather that we had in April kind of helped because I don't think people missed too many golf days
Yeah.
in the story. But as we turn the corner now, everybody's anxious to play, and my members, they're supportive, they're understanding, but they're frustrated too because we really do feel that golf can be done um, in a safe manner. There's certain protections that or procedures that we can put in place to protect our employees and our customers. But once you get on the golf course, pretty much it's a social spacing type of sport.
Right.
I've seen so many golfers. One guy hits it to the right, the other guy hits it to the left, and they may not be able to talk to each other until they get to the green.
It's amazing how they pair up like that, right?
Yeah,
It's
one
hard
goes
to get.
right, one goes left, and
Yeah, it's hard to get good cart golf players with me. No matter where the person in front of me hits it, it always goes in the opposite direction. It's a given, and 99 times out of 100, it's in the woods. So um, no, I'll tell you, this is the one thing that I found, um, kind of not interesting. There's parts of it I get, and then there's parts of it I don't get. And one of the things that I saw right out early on was the people going out onto the Brockton golf courses, the city next to ours, and that the police were going to start enforcing it. And there was all this up in arms, and there was really a divide. You had the people that said, "Hey, this is open air; we should be able to play golf. And just because you're closed doesn't mean they shouldn't use the course." And I don't advocate anybody using someone's land without permission and paying. But then there was the other side that said, this is a pandemic. The governor said it. We need to adhere to it. But I've been challenged with golf because, like you say, there's four people that are typically socially responsible. They're paying good money to be on the golf course. You could say, hey, listen, each of you have to have your own golf cart, or you have to each walk your
sure.
own bag, or come up with something. And there's been nothing. But the good news is, like you say, when you think about it and look at it, and I definitely applaud your members for their support and understanding, but they're probably looking out the window on most rain days like I am and going, I ain't going outside to my car, so I wouldn't be playing golf. So that's kind of the blessing in disguise. If all the days were like today, then I might see a little frustration in that, but it's probably more frustration of that they can't get out there, not the frustration that you can't get them out there because it's not your fault, obviously. What is it? So did you have many tournaments scheduled? Do you have many tournaments scheduled for March, April, May? What does that look like? And functions, weddings and things? Is this a busy
Well,
time?
so March and April a little early for tournaments typically. There's no guarantee on the weather, but we had a pretty good schedule in May and June for golf outings, and uh, most of them have postponed and tried to pick a date in the fall. I did lose a few that have said that they just couldn't switch it. They run into conflicts later in the year, so I did lose some golf outings. We also had a pretty active schedule for functions, whether it be, I know we had a few bridal showers planned. We had a christening or two, but we lost three separate functions that were Bridgewater State sororities and fraternities. They would have their year-end galas at our place. They really enjoy coming to the Easton Country Club. So we lost those. We lost some fundraisers. The list goes on and on. But the YMCA always has a big spring gala. It's their major
Oh
fundraiser.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so now they're trying to find a date in the fall. So hopefully we'll be able to do something in the fall and make up for it. But the loss of both functions in the Fairview room and golf outings has really whacked the spring revenue stream by probably 2/3. So it really
Wow.
puts a lot of challenges out there.
Yeah, and while you're saying that, I just had this thought, and I've been to countless fundraisers over there. One, it's got to really feel good for you to be holding those events as fundraisers, knowing that it's helping other organizations.
Mm.
but those organizations are losing out. It's a double
Sure.
whammy on that as well, because those organizations really count on having their events so that they can have money for them to operate through the year. So this is a big challenge, and having to put off, someone that has a yearly event in the spring, wait till the fall. That's money that they really count on for their nonprofits and their scholarships and all that
Absolutely.
other stuff. And I didn't even really think about that until you just kind of said, the different groups that come in there. Even though I've been there for all these different events, I'm always envisioning, when you hear functions, you hear weddings, and it's like you guys do so much more than that. What else do you? So let's talk a little bit about that now that we're there. That function room, what does it hold? What are the types of events? What kind of notice do people have to be given? So, I mean, hey, everybody wants to go out, right? Everybody wants to get the hell out of their house. How much time or notice they typically have to go with booking for the space? And tell us a little bit more about the space, because it's really a neat function room.
Well, thank you. Well, we have a capacity of 196 seated. It's rare that we get that big, just because it's when you put banquet tables for silent auctions, say, or you want some space for cutting loose on the dance floor, of course, that takes away some table space. So, our sweet spot, so to speak, is up to about 160 typically for a function. We'll do anything down to 75 as you approach the off season, but our baseline when you're in the high season is 100 people for a function. First of all, I have a very creative staff. Anne-Marie Taylor, who is our event coordinator, she has been able to take just about any request and put it together as a function, and has done a great job. So quinceaneras happen to be very popular at the club. Of course, we have the bar mitzvahs. We have anniversary parties. You name it. And on a sadder note, we host a few bereavements over the years. So, we can make anything work. And we have tons of menu options, which it really helps sell the place, because customers aren't just given one page and said, pick item 1 or 2. They can go through reams and reams of paper of menu options, and then after that they can customize it. We'll do anything if they want.
So what kind of notice are we talking about? I mean, I think that some folks are probably thinking like, hey, this has been empty for a couple of months. There might not be anything on the books, but I'm sure you've got plenty on the books right now for June, July, and August. What do people have to typically give for a lead time for looking to do an event? Because I know there's some people. I'll tell you what, last night I actually, I don't know if I have it. I had it right in front of me, because I was like, I bought it. Yeah, right here. I found this yesterday. I bought this VFW. You can't see it because of the background screen, but I bought a VFW banquet hall rental back at the Lions Club auction a year ago, and I came across it, and I'm like, I'm just going to use it when this whole thing is over, so that I can just get a whole bunch of people together, because the social distancing stuff's for the birds.
Put me on the list, please.
Yeah,
love to go.
100%. But my assumption is that I'm just gonna be able to call them, because they've been closed for so long, that they'll just say, yeah, come on in on Saturday. But what's a typical lead time that someone would want to start planning an event, and space for June or July or August? Is there, are
Sure.
people getting scared and canceled already for something they got coming up, and there's some openings? What does that look like?
Well, we Saturdays are obviously the most popular evening for booking functions, and the weddings. The brides will book as far as a year and a half, 2 years out. So June and September and early October tend to be the most popular Saturdays. As far as then it's really based off availability. So it doesn't take us long to turn around an event. So if someone were suddenly wanting to get married and 2 months from now, that's easy on our part. We can certainly help the bride keep organized and get everything done. So I don't really have, we don't have a limit to the certain lead time. It's all, we just try and help the customer whichever way we can to get the function. Now, this year has been certainly very challenging, and I feel terrible for the brides, because the big unknown is what type of restrictions are going to be out there at the time of their wedding. So we've had a few spring weddings that have moved to the fall. We've had a few weddings also booked for 2021. They're hoping that we're for sure going to be back to normal in 2021. So we understand. I mean, we listen. A wedding is a very special day, and there's so much stress that goes on a normal time for a bride for a wedding, and now with this on top of it. So listen, we're going to accommodate the bride whichever way we can. So if there's a date available, in fact, right now what we're doing is we're allowing brides to hold 2 or 3 separate dates, because it's not just finding a date with us, it's also making sure that their vendors, the photographers, the DJs, and all that have those dates open too. So we're allowing brides to hold 3 dates until they can work it all out with their vendors to make sure that they have everybody together. So it's a little bit more complicated behind the scenes than it appears on the front, but we're doing what we can. Everybody is, you have to.
Well, that's a great, what a great service that is, to give 3 dates and try to alleviate some of that stress. And I had Baltazar on Monday, who does a lot of DJing, and I shared with you Chris Ventresco, who's going to be episode 62, that I sounded terrible, like Frankenstein. Something was wrong with my audio yesterday. Photographer, there's so many moving pieces that, that's great that you're giving them those options until they can work through all this stuff. And you're right, like, there's so many unknowns with events, the 3 phases that they're talking about, the rollout, which golf will be fine, no more than 10 to a group, which is the first phase. The second phase is no more than 50. And then the third phase, which is the unknown, is, a general event with large attendance, but we'll probably have some restrictions or some requirements. And, as of right now, Easton, anything public, you got to wear a mask.
Right.
So, there's so many different moving pieces to this, but I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to May 18th. I'm looking forward to May 18th, that they're going to lift some of the stuff and let people at least play golf. And I firmly believe that. So how
I could give you some background on what's happening.
Yeah.
On that. I belong to an organization called the New England chapter of the National Golf Course Association. And we've got about 230, 240 member clubs, and I happen to sit on the board. I'm a treasurer, but as this was going down, me and the board really didn't think that the golf course owners' voices were being heard. So we did hire a lobbyist, and the lobbyist has been able to get the attention of some of the governments throughout the New England region. They're starting to open up golf courses. Of course, Massachusetts right now is hesitant, and but tomorrow, and I'm crossing my fingers, tomorrow could be a good day. We're actually, golf is the subject for the Charlie Baker's Economic Opening Board, Economic Development Board. And we have an hour of that council's time trying to present how we can safely reopen golf and the need to do so as fast as possible. So I'm hopeful that we get some good news, that it was well received, and I hope it's one of the first businesses to come back online.
I think I read this somewhere. You might know, I'm sure you know better than I do, but I think I read today that Massachusetts is one of only 6 states in the country that doesn't have golf right now.
I think it's fewer now. I do, but you're right, and we're on track probably to be the last state. So, listen, I understand. I mean, it's just been tragic to hear the numbers and just the people who have become infected. That number keeps going up and up. But we do feel that there's some benefit to golf as well. Getting outside, getting some physical activity. You know, people are kind of stuck in the home, and it's borderline on bordering on depression. So I
Yeah.
can speak personally on that. So you know, just the ability to get out there, maybe see some friends from afar, but hit that white ball and get frustrated at the white ball instead of what else is going on.
Hey, I
I think
think,
it'd be beneficial.
yeah,
I really
well,
do.
I can tell you, not to shift back and forth, but I meant to say, I think you're going to have a lot of baby showers after this thing's all said and done.
Yeah, that's good.
Everybody I've been talking to is talking about, you know, this is going to be a baby boom.
Yeah,
I recorded a podcast for my other channel yesterday, and people were talking about, you know, that this is potentially going to be the Corona baby boom.
yeah.
So you're a public course, but you do have memberships available. Do you currently have memberships available for people if they want to join your course? And, you know, what's the benefit to joining, and what does that look like?
Well, we do, yeah, and we never really get sold out of memberships only because of the way we work our membership. We offer 3 levels of membership. One being a full member, 7-day a week access. But what kind of makes us a little unique is you get the option of a permanent tea time on Saturday and Sunday and holidays. So if you were to join, I would assign you, say, to a tea time at 8:48. Okay.
Mm,
Well, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to call and say whether you're going to
you
use
got it
it or
every
not.
week.
Yeah, you could just show up and that's your time. And it's been really, really quite fun in a way. Some people, they come in as strangers, they get assigned to a foursome, and 2 years afterwards, they're going to their daughters and sons' weddings, and they become fast friends, and the wives know each other. So I'm kind of like a matchmaker in that sense. But then we have a weekday membership option, which is Monday through Friday, and then we have what I call the value membership. It's a hybrid between the two, where you have 7-day a week privileges, but they're restricted to after 11:30 on Saturday and Sundays, and that works for some because you know they're not morning players, and so then of course we have a junior membership, a very affordable junior
Mhm.
membership. I want to get the kids out there because the kids grow up and hopefully stick with golf, and we'll keep the whole industry alive.
Yeah. I didn't start young. I actually started in 1994 at the age of 19. I actually got my first lessons. I played 3 rounds of golf. Um, there's a 9-hole course in Taunton. I can't remember what it's called. Um,
Oh,
it'll come to me. You know what it is. It's a little short track.
yeah, I do know. I
Uh,
can't think of it either.
I played 3 times over there. Realized I'm terrible. And my family got me 5 lessons over with you. I can't remember the pro's
Chan,
name, maybe.
Chan Finney.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the, and should have just probably called it quits after my first lesson.
no.
Fast forward 26 years later, I still have all the same bad habits, and um, I still do the same exact thing I did the first round of golf that I did. But I have a lot of fun. I actually played twice last year, both times at your track.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But well, they were both fundraisers.
Oh,
You know,
good.
that's the easiest way to get out, and you don't have to always play your ball when you play those best ball tournaments, which is nice.
Yes, yeah,
You can
yeah.
count on 3 other people to play well.
Or you can blame 3 other people, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, you still doing the lessons? You still got some pros over there doing clinics
We
or anything?
do.
Yeah.
Rob Citrano is our PGA and instructional pro.
Yeah.
And he's fantastic. He's helped me in my games. You know, everybody gets the yips every once in a while, but it's amazing. He can just take one look at what you're doing, make a couple adjustments, and boom, you're off to the races. So, yes, he has not only private lessons, but he has some group lessons. He does adult clinics
Yeah.
in the evening, which have been a big hit. He usually around 5:30 at night, a couple nights a week, and he goes for about an hour and a half, and it's geared more towards the beginners, and it's a 4-session clinic, and on the 4th session they actually go out on the golf course and play a few holes for the first time. So those have been successful. He does a junior clinic as well. So the golf instruction is important. We need people to continue to enter the game.
Oh, 100%. That's what keeps it all going. So you got golf, 18 holes, fantastic course. You get the banquet facility that holds up to 190 people, but typically you want to hold it to 150, 160, especially if you're doing charity with raffle items. You got a magnificent patio to. Can somebody just go there and sit on the patio and have a drink on a Friday night?
Oh yes,
And yeah,
absolutely.
just,
It's so peaceful too.
oh yeah, it is. It's quiet. It's quiet as can be. For people that don't know, this is on a relatively quiet road. You're bordering water on one side, woods on two of the other sides, and you only have a short stint of actual street that you're attached to. I don't know. Was that the 18th hole? I never started on the same hole. I can't remember
That's
where the
right.
green
So
is. Yeah.
the Purchase Street is the 18th hole.
Yeah.
There's a few houses off of Prospect Street, but
Yeah.
by and large, you're mostly bordered by wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're sitting behind our clubhouse on the patio, it's like you're in a pleasant middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
So bring a stogie.
Yep.
You certainly can have a few cocktails. It really is beautiful, and it's funny because I know the rage now is do al fresco dining and things like that, but a lot of places locally, you're sitting in a parking lot or you're sitting facing a busy street. And,
right.
We offer a room with a view, so to speak.
Yeah, you got that nice little gazebo out there too, don't you? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So you can just go out, have a drink, have a little bite to eat, hang out, learn how to play golf. You got a pro shop, you got a driving range. So anything golf related, anything banquet related, anything relaxation related. If you need to take a little mindful meditation and go out on the patio, how do they find you? Online, on phone?
Online, www.eastoncountryclub.com. We have Facebook pages, Easton Country Club Golf and ECC Weddings, because we run really two separate businesses. We're on Instagram. We have, I'm on LinkedIn, so you can reach me on LinkedIn, but yes, we are, I think one of the mistakes in our community that I hear from time to time is they think we are private, and that it's only members allowed, but we're not. We're open to the public. You can use the driving range. You do not have to be a member to go buy a bucket of balls. You can even practice on the putting green, no charge.
Yeah.
Maybe buy a beer if you're there, but
yeah.
But yes, so we're very accessible by the public. We're very welcoming to the public, and we would love to see everyone.
And a phone number, I don't know if I caught that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
That's all right.
508-238-2500.
Okay. 508-238-2500. And I'll tell you what, I hope you get some good news tomorrow. I really do. And I'm
fingers crossed.
Yeah, my fingers are crossed for you. I hope that the numbers start to decline significantly here. I mean, the hardest part for all of this, I talk to people from all over the country, and my office for my day job is based in North Carolina, and their total death count is, I think, right around 300 from the virus. And when I tell them, well, we're at almost 4,000 with I don't remember the number of infected, but it's astronomical. And as I share with you, some of the places where my father was for health purposes, I mean, over 50% of the people there have been diagnosed with it. Many sadly have passed away. So we're the hard part of all of this is that we are really in that epicenter of difficulty with lots of folks got it or getting it or struggling with it. So hopefully this starts to turn sooner than later. Hopefully you get some good news and you're able to start getting folks back out there, safely and responsibly. And I wish you all the luck in the world, my friend. I look forward to my first round out there. And, I think anybody that's in the Easton area, if you thought that this might be a private course, it's got the private feel all day long, but the public touch, everybody there is absolutely lights out fantastic. Mark is probably the single greatest representation of what you could expect for the type of person that's there. Always ready there to greet you, to go above and beyond and get things done, answer your questions. And their lessons, jokes aside of my golf game, the patience that in 1994, the patience that was had for me was nothing short of exemplary. And Danny, my 13-year-old, the CEO of oldwhiteballs.com, he got his first couple of lessons there. He didn't take to playing golf. He took to selling golf balls, but we'll get him. We'll get him to come around one of these
It's all
days.
good.
Well, you know, the hard part was I was training him to play golf righty, and he's a lefty, so that was the first problem.
There you go.
I need to step out and let the pros actually call the shots on who hits which way on that stuff. So
hey, the good thing about golf is you're never too old to pick it up.
No, and so you know what? Here's the thing: it is the greatest social event that you could have. Even if you stink, even if you don't get out but a couple times a year. I was playing a lot a couple of years ago, and between my travel schedule and family and trying to figure out a hobby, and I was riding motorcycles for a bit and doing other things, I just didn't have the time to do it. But when I did and I got out, it's like the best 4 to 6 hours, because if you're going on a fundraiser, you know, you're doing the banquet, you're doing the auction, you're doing all stuff. You never have a bad experience on a golf course. It's just a comfortable, relaxing place, and you guys do such a phenomenal job. I can't wait to see how great the course looks, because that's the one thing that people are failing to see. That course could have been worked on pretty good from March 10th to now. Nobody's out there. I mean, you don't have a blade of grass out of whack. I bet it's going to be the first.
It's amazing because we have fairways without one divot. We have greens without one ball mark.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart a little bit, but at the same time, you know, and one thing I've done is I've invited the members to come walk the golf course just to keep them attached. And I say, just make sure you wave hi to me in the pro shop before you head out. So, you know, I get to see some of you, but they did, they come off the course, then they say, we can't wait. This thing looks you know, I hope it's soon. I do. It's, I think we can do it the right way. We can keep people safe. And I just think it's emotionally beneficial for, if you're a golfer, or even if you're not a golfer, to get outside. It's emotional. It can be helpful in these times of need.
Yeah. Well, you hang in there, my friend. I look forward to seeing you soon enough. And, you know, good luck with everything. I look forward to, like I said, the first foursome that gets to go out on that is going to be in for a real treat. I mean, that's just going to be, it's not going to be me, because that whole divot and ball mark and everything else.
No, the point is, I want you to make the divots.
I'll put you right in mid-season shape. You're gonna need a whole lot of work. So, but hang in there. We will see you soon enough in person. I'm glad you got to take the time to sit here with my listeners for a little bit and educate us on your magnificent space over there. And man, if there was ever a time I wish I was born in the 1940s, it's when listening to the cost per acre in Easton, Massachusetts for $5,500. What a deal.
Yeah. So, thank you once again for inviting me on.
My pleasure, my friend. And that'll do it for episode 61. I tell everybody on each episode, and it's interesting, I had a conversation today with someone. A lot of people, this is your first episode. Some of you, it's your 61st episode. For those that have listened to all 61, hey, can't thank you enough. I hope you look forward to number 62. For this one, that's your first episode. If you liked it, please be sure to share, comment, like, review, ratings and reviews on the Apple Podcast platform. I send you free t-shirts, $25, free for you. T-shirt. You don't need to buy one. You get a free Be Awesome t-shirt, same ones I sell. You don't even need to pay shipping and handling. Just do a rating and review on the Apple Podcast platform. That's where over 80% of my people listen. Send me an email to Josh, Josh, at Beawesome, BEAUSM.com, with your size, address, and I will drop it in the mail. And I am doing mail drops every day. So if you want to buy a shirt, you don't want to do a rating and review, you love us, but you don't want to type us, that's okay too. Go to the website. There's a store, beawesome.com, selling t-shirts. That's my business right now. That's where the money's coming in. Unfortunately, I'm having a lot of fun working from home. I'm having a lot of fun talking to people like Mark, getting socially close via the technology of Zoom. But the shirts are definitely appreciated for anybody that buys them. We're going to keep going with this stuff as long as this COVID continues. We're going to continue to support those that supported me and supported my family over the years through local community businesses. And you know, we're just going to keep going through this thing together and try to put a smile on everybody's face. So for that, if you can be anything, be awesome. Have a great weekend.